Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
It's June 12th, and this is the last of our pre-Appalachian training days. And it's day one, and it's a very late start. We're 2.5 months behind schedule, and we'll see how this goes. I guess I owe everybody an explanation why we're starting so late. Our original start date was April 2nd, but before we started, Gigi traveled back to Europe to visit her family, and she got stuck in Europe when they canceled flights. So it took us about 2 months to get another flight, and that delayed us until today, June 12th. That's the biggest shelf mushroom I've ever seen. Okay, a little rundown of our hike today. So we started over here. We started at the parking lot right here off of U.S. Forestry Service 42. My sister Julie and her husband Paul dropped us off, and they hiked up to Springer with us. It's only a 1 mile hike up to Springer Mountain. We stayed up there for about half an hour, and then took a couple pictures, and then made our way back down to the parking lot. We said our goodbyes to my sister. Found a stray cat in the parking lot, and they took it home, and I think they're going to call it Springer after Springer Mountain. But we'll see. I don't know if that name is going to stick. So we said our goodbyes, and we left the parking lot, and we continued on past Hawk Mountain Shelter, and we kind of stopped at Hawk Mountain Shelter for half an hour and ate lunch, and then we continued on we were going to try and get to Gooch Mountain, but right around Horse Gap, we decided we were going to call it a day. At 10.5 miles on the AT plus the 1 mile we did from the parking lot, so it's about 11.5 mile day there. And it was a really bad spot to camp. It was right next to a dirt road, and there's a lot of trash around, so we decided to continue up the hill from Horse Gap, and we found a really cool stealth site up at the top, and we ended up camping, going a total of 11.2 plus the 1, 12.2 mile day, and then set up our tents and started cooking dinner.
Hey guys, thank you to follow us to explore the Appalachian Trail. I hope you're going to enjoy this vlogging. However, we are not too experienced, but we would like to guide you as much we can. Whoever planned to make it maybe next year, the whole way from Georgia to Maine. And of course, I would like to say thank you for the support to Julie and Paul, who drove us this morning from Tennessee Cleveland to Georgia Springer Mountains, and of course my family, who is always around, and I hope we make it in 5 months. That would be the best, so we see each other pretty soon. Anyway, you have a good night.
Day 2, June 13th. Woke up a little stiff this morning. Got up about 4:30, and we've been on the trail for about an hour. It's like 7 in the morning right now. Yesterday we actually moved pretty quick. We did 12.2 miles in about 4 hours, and we called it a day real early, about 2 o'clock or something like that. 2:30. Just take a break. We had enough water to stealth camp, so we just stopped. And this morning we're just got about 6 ounces of water left, so we're pushing to the water source, gonna refill and then move on. Whew. Yesterday I wanted to attack the trail like David Goggins. It turned out to be more like Frodo Baggins or something. Anyway, we're still going. So last night, about 10:30, we heard this helicopter hovering around out in the woods. It was a military UH-60, it's a Black Hawk helicopter. And when we stopped at Hawk Mountain Shelter yesterday for lunch, which was about 3 miles south of where we stealth camped last night, I found some 5.56 blank ammunition on the ground, and I thought it was strange that the military would be operating right on the Appalachian Trail. Then last night I was listening to that helicopter hover, and I was like, it's kind of odd that helicopter's staying in one place for like 10 minutes. And I think dudes were fast roping, gone into the woods or something, because just a few minutes after the helicopter left, all out gunfight. So at first it started off with like M4s with blank adapters. It's kind of like a putt-putt noise. You military veterans will know what I'm talking about. But then someone with a 240 machine gun was just lighting up the night. And then there were a couple of really loud explosions. I think they were grenade simulators. And I was kind of giggling because it sounded like it was coming from Hawk Mountain Shelter. And I was like, man, what do the people at Hawk Mountain Shelter think is going on right now? But when we stopped for water, I talked to a guy who had come from Hawk Mountain Shelter this morning. He never woke up. Nobody heard it, which I think is pretty odd because it was pretty loud. So I don't know, maybe it was somewhere in between or something that just Gigi and I heard. I think it's kind of weird that nobody else heard it, because we also talked to some other stealth campers this morning and they never heard anything. They heard the helicopter but no gunfire, and that was pretty loud. So maybe they were closer than I thought. Just interesting, when we were trying to listen for bears, and instead all we heard was a gun battle. Thought that was pretty funny. Most people start their through hikes in February or March, and there's no leaves on any of the trees yet. But if you wait until June, I guarantee you're going to be in the shade. Alright, a little rundown of what we did today. I think our total mileage was 12.9. We started off very close to this viewpoint here that was just above Horse Gap. I think our actual starting mileage was 11.2. We traveled past Cooper Gap. It's a nice little climb out of Cooper's Gap, and continued on past Gooch Mountain Shelter, and stopped for water at Walden Creek. Continued on past Woody Gap. Woody Gap was really busy. Lots of people there. It is Saturday. So we stopped there for a little bit, took a little break, and then got out of there and proceeded up to viewpoint just above it, which I'm not sure if it's on the gut hooks, but this is probably the view they're talking about. I can't remember the name of the rock. Then we were going to continue on to the next water source, fill up on water, and then get a little stealth campsite. But we ended up continuing on to Lance Creek Restoration Area, where there's like 4 or 5 tent plots and cables for bear hangs. So we hung our food in the bear hangs, and we're going to call it a night. Tomorrow it's about 8.5 miles into Neels Gap, and well, it looks like 7.4 into Neels Gap. So we're gonna go check out Blood Mountain and then go down into Neels Gap, and we're gonna try and figure out what we're gonna do there. We might actually stay the night in Neels Gap and at a cabin. We'll find out tomorrow.